I never imagined my own mother would banish me from my younger sister's wedding after I spent 12 grueling years quietly sacrificing everything to make that dream possible. Standing at the grand venue doors, the event manager stared at me with pure panic before whispering that my name had been wiped from the guest list just hours prior. Before I could process the sudden shock, my mother glided over with a cold smile and announced to the gathering crowd that outsiders had no place at a tight-knit family celebration. She truly believed she had erased my presence from the biggest day of my sister's life. What she failed to realize was that my legal signature was printed on the contract funding every single moment of that luxury event. Within minutes, the entire ceremony was forced to a dead halt because of the one massive oversight she never saw coming. My name is Hannah Vance, and for over a decade, I have worked demanding night shifts as a trauma nurse in a busy city hospital. Last summer, I arrived at my younger sister Chloe's wedding holding an antique silver box containing our late father restored pocket watch, a gift 12 years in the making. When the registration coordinator checked the master sheet, her cheeks drained of color as she admitted my mother had personally instructed her to turn me away at the gate. Before I could request an explanation, my mother stepped into the doorway and declared aloud that non-family members were simply not welcome here. Those bitter words cut deeper than any injury I had ever treated in the emergency room. I looked my mother directly in her eyes, gave a single silent nod, and warned her that if she truly viewed me as a stranger, she would get her wish forever. Turning on my heel, I walked back toward my car completely heartbroken, believing I had lost the only family I spent my entire youth trying to protect. What my mother did not comprehend was that the exquisite estate she had just thrown me out of legally belonged to my temporary custody for the afternoon. 12 long years earlier, our world shattered when my father suddenly passed away, leaving our household buried under hundreds of thousands of dollars in hidden debt. Late one night, I found my mother sobbing on the kitchen floor, surrounded by collection warnings. She begged me to save our home, but made me promise that Chloe would never learn about our financial collapse. Naive young nurse that I was, I agreed to carry the heavy burden alone. Immediately after graduating, I volunteered for painful weekend night shifts that provided extra hazard pay. Every paycheck was divided, sending nearly 60% directly into my mother account to clear the overdue mortgage statements. Over the next decade, I quietly paid off the house loan, covered Chloe medical bills, and completely financed her university tuition. Every dollar flowed strictly through my mother hands first, allowing her to proudly portray herself as the heroic widow who saved her family. Meanwhile, I was painted as the distant, selfish daughter who abandoned her loved ones. Whenever I missed a holiday dinner because I was actively saving cardiac patients at the hospital, my mother falsely claimed I simply did not care anymore. The younger sister I cherished began treating me like a cold stranger, unaware that my endless working hours paid for her comfortable life. Eventually, Chloe fell in love with an exclusive lakeside estate for her wedding that they simply could not afford. Without demanding any credit, I transferred $23,000 directly to the vendor to secure the reservation completely. Because the venue required the primary cardholder to authorize all policies, my signature was officially recorded as the sole paying client on every contract page. Broken and defeated after being rejected at the entrance, I started my car and drove away. Meanwhile, back at the estate, the lead coordinator realized the primary financial backer had been forcibly ejected by a non-paying guest. Company policy strictly mandated the contract holder written consent for any changes, a rule my mother had blatantly broken. The coordinator immediately confronted the groom, Samuel, and his father, Arthur, who instantly recognized my full name on the contract. 2 years prior, Arthur had been my primary cardiac patient after a massive heart attack, and he vividly remembered me staying awake 4 nights in a row to save his life. Arthur realized the daughter accused of abandoning her relatives was actually the silent guardian who funded this entire luxury wedding. The ceremony came to an immediate halt as my mother was forced to confess the full truth in front of all the guests. She tearfully admitted that I had paid off the home debt, funded Chloe's college degree, and covered the entire cost of the venue. A few minutes later, Chloe called my phone while sobbing, begging me to turn my car around immediately. When I stepped back onto the estate grounds, my sister was waiting at the entrance holding our father-restored pocket watch with tears streaming down her face. Stepping past our speechless mother, Chloe placed the silver watch into my hand and asked me to walk her down the aisle instead. Side by side, we walked down the pathway together where my sacrifice was finally recognized. Silence can feel like protection, but when you stay quiet too long, others will rewrite your legacy. Real love never stays hidden forever, and when light finally breaks through, no lie can survive its warmth. If this story moved you, please consider hitting the subscribe button to support the channel. Do not forget to click on the next video appearing on your end screen right now for more incredible personal stories just like this one.